are in a twilight zone. These are the people that are in control of the righteous men. They think they got it going on. That's the world you live in. I live in. We're forced to live in this world of insanity. No, don't live by the golden rule. Don't be religious. Come on, what are you talking about? Goody two-shoes. Nice guys finish last, fool. Right? You're a liar. You're a phony. What do you don't love money? So are you a hypocrite? So they got you, right? We all love money. What? It's a confession. It's the beginning of being forgiven for a sin. You got to confess it, unforgiven sin in your heart and mind. See, this is where the evil begins. When people go out and they commit a murder, it starts somewhere in their heart and mind. Something's wrong, and they never took the time to investigate it, to pray and say, God, I don't want to identify with that person there. Get those thoughts out of my heart and mind. I want to have pure heart. I want to please you, Father. I want to find happiness eventually, somehow. I want right and real values that you approve of, that you sanctify. You got to do these things. It's on an individual, prayerful level. We got to get down and we got to talk to God. We got to be on the same page, in sync with the way he thinks. If we don't, man, we're in the wrong line. We're going to the wrong place. And I'm trying to do God's work. I'm trying to be his servant of my own free will and accord, trying to be his friend and convince evil men to just stop being evil. That's all you have to do. But you have to start by confessing it, admitting that you're evil. We're all evil. We're all culpable. We all love money. What idiot, what fool, what liar doesn't love money? Of course you do. God knows it. What do you think you're going to hide from God? None of us do. None of us can. We need money. It's our sense of security. What does security represent? It's being out of fear, because we're all living in fear of being flat-ass broke and being that next guy in the soiled grove, soiled clothing, that's with his tail between his legs, feeling guilty, walking under the bridge for a night's sleep. That's you. How do you think they extract these exorbitant rents and mortgages? Nobody talks about that. You better pay that ever higher rent. You better pay those ever higher housing costs. Or that's you, buddy. That's you. So just put your tail between your legs and go die under that bridge. That's the message these evil men have for you and I. Are we going to listen to them? And they peddle them constantly in the mainstream media. All we see is pharmaceutical ads. Oh, well, use this drug or that drug, and it might kill you, but they use it anyhow. It's a happy pill. All these people that would never smoke any weed, they'd never have a beer or a glass of wine or a cigarette, but hey, you know what? I got to do these happy pills. My doctor said these are good, said I trust the professionals, and blah, blah. So they're all spaced out of these. I'm happy. As they go along in the mainstream media, they got to make sure that these people are well heeled, right? So these people they get for anchors, a long-term, these news reporters that come out and spew out the trash and the propaganda. They got to make sure these people can afford a middle-class life, because they're spewing out the nonsense, telling you higher and higher housing prices are a better and better. It's all good. It's an essential human need, for God's sake, we're talking about. It's like food. You understand that if food prices had kept up with housing prices, costs, what the mainstream media peddles as value, you'd be paying $25 for a carton of eggs. Do you understand? And that's not even being hyperbolic. It's probably closer to $30 for a dozen eggs by now. It's a fair comparison. They're both essential human needs. Do you understand? It's a fair comparison. And so what the mainstream media is going to tell you, hey, the value of your eggs keeps going up, man. It just went this last year from $25 to $30. And hey, shut up. You're getting a good value. You're getting a better value. Half the people in California are renters. And every time housing prices go up here, there's a direct correlation between the cost people are paying for rent because of all these investors They're out there buying it up, snapping everything up. Everything. And they get all these little piss ass like Robert Kiyosaki, rich dad. Oh, go buy it up, man. Go buy all those fixer-uppers, man. You gotta snap up all those low-hanging fruits, man. You can't let that poor, struggling young couple hoping to get their foot in the door on home ownership. No, you can't. You gotta keep them under your thumb, man. You want them dirt poor. You want them begging for food stamps and welfare out there, man. That's what you need. You want to hard up. You wanted to be complaining. You want to take the complaint to the government, right? Tell them, hey, we need more than $50 billion a year from Section 8 housing. Make it $100 billion a year. Make the problem even worse. We spend $50 billion a year, and this is considered a socialistic program, right? Welfare. Poor people can't afford their housing costs. And all it's done is make the problem worse. And all that money you and I, the taxpayers, spend goes right in the pockets of the fat cats causing the problems. And the problems get worse and worse and worse. And we're told, just double down. Try to borrow more money from the Fed. Make the debt worse. And you know how they carry this loan? And they give themselves raises to insulate themselves, right? Oh, well, these politicians, we got to protect ourselves. We got a lot of family in the real estate industry and in the lending industry, so we can't be in it ourselves. Otherwise, that'd be seen as a conflict of interest. But with the way we set our policies, we could cater to them because, you know what, we know which side our bread is buttered on here, and all we have to do is give ourselves a raise. We're going to water down the money because we're going to deliberately cause inflation. Okay, because that's what watering the currency down does. That's called currency debasement. You understand? It's a tax. And the people it hurts the most are the people at the bottom rungs of the ladder, the economic ladder out there. They're paying the most. Welfare, these people create the need for the welfare, for the food stamps and every other kind of welfare program out there. These aren't any kind of good egalitarian socialists. These are some mean mother effers. Let me tell you, friends, we're up against a juggernaut of pure evil genius, and our blessed hope is in the Lord. I mean, that's it. That's all I got. It's going to take the return of Christ, whether that's an allegory, a metaphor, figure of speech. It does not matter, okay? But we have to understand that it's the very finger, the hand of God, that's going to cause this worm to turn for humanity, for decent, righteous humanity who just wants to live free and is willing that everybody else on the face of the earth has that same option, just to live free. I'm God's child. It's God's planet. God gave me my share from birth. So I serve how I want, where I want, for who I want, when I want. End of story. That's it. We've been given an instinct to not want to be useless. Do you understand? It's as simple as that. That's why you know that people are going to continue to serve one another. Because we're utterly compelled. It'd be like fighting our own conscience to not do so. It'd be very unnatural for a person to be lazy and self-serving and decadent. There's something very wrong with a person like that. So if we're all born infinitely wealthy from birth, the world's been handed to us essentially on a silver platter, we're still going to want to find a way to spend our hours. Okay, we're going to want to be useful. We're going to want to be appreciated. We're going to want to use our God-given talents to give. We're all giving. This is one of the most beautiful things about women, I find, that spirit of nurturing the female has. But men also have that too. Men are givers too, right? We want to give. It's a very natural, godly instinct. And it's very unnatural to not want to give. So if we're all born rich, there's no need for money. We can say, yeah, that's very true. It'd be stupid. It'd be asinine. Why bother with money when you're all rich? It's stupid. It's established. Every single human being has been doled out their share in the planet from birth to use as long as they're here. And it goes back to wherever it goes back, the treasury, whatever. But you understand all these problems we have, this national debt and people needing welfare and all this, and minimum wage workers are close thereabouts. The Federal Labor Department, man, if they had come out every year over the last half a century and said, look, we're lowering wages because the cost of living's going down because of capitalism and supply and demand. So still, even though we went from $1 to 75 cents this year because we saw a deflation, that the worth of your money was going up because we were producing more than we needed. So the demand was low and the supply was high. That's what happens naturally, which should have happened in housing. It happened with electronics and a lot of other stuff. Okay? And a lot of stuff didn't inflate nearly as much as housing. And they just need one essential human need to pick on. Say, I got you by the throat. Now you're under my thumb. Good luck. We'll throw you a few crumbs and blame you, okay, for being stupid or lazy and poor and needing welfare handouts and all this crap. And you got all these people out there, oh, don't feed the squirrels in the park, man. You know, and that's their theory about welfare. You know what? You teach a man how to fish, you don't give him the fish, for God's sake. All this crap. Well, they're the ones creating the problem, or they're minions of the people that are creating the problems at the uppermost echelons of power. And there's a multitude, there's a literal army of freaking minions that just go along because they're just passive little piss ants that say, you know what, I know which side my bread is buttered on, I'm making lots of money, I'm well heeled, you know what, screw you guys, I'm happy because I'm free, I'm rich, and I can't worry about every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there. But they don't know. I mean, they didn't create themselves. It's not their life. They don't own nothing, man. We're going to give account for our belief system. And if it doesn't hold water, we're in the wrong line. We're going down with the bullies. Imagine how miserable you'll be without any righteous people to take advantage of. Just imagine all these docile, righteous people. They could have your position if they wanted to, just be more assertive and aggressive and meaner and forsake their conscience and the golden rule. Be the most cutthroat. They could have your position, and then you'd be subjugated. How would you like that? You understand? Do you ever give that any thought? Were you living by the golden rule? The one law with real teeth? The laws of man are fleeting and ever-changing. God's laws aren't, man. We're in a lot of trouble, and only God can help us at this point. Okay, I just want to be very clear about that. If we get relief from this thing, and it's got to start with the people that are literally hemorrhaging out there, the absolutely destitute out there to the point of homelessness. Well, we the taxpayers are forced to pay what, close to $100,000 a year here in California to keep one inmate in jail for a year? Rapists, murderers, child molesters. You're willing to fork that out, or you're forced to, whatever the case may be. That's the way it is. But if you're not a criminal, if you're not a rapist, or if you're not a child molester, or if you're not a murderer, no soup for you. That's how we treat them. And Jesus said, whatever you do or fail to do for the least of these, you have done or failed to do for me. And you're okay with that? I'm not. Oh, God, no. King Solomon, we still call the wisest man in the world. Google it. King Solomon said that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And the fear we're talking about is not, oh, I'm so afraid of God that I'm going to do right because, I'm scared. No. It's the reverence, the deep and profound respect for the Lord, okay, that you want to do. You want to please your owner, okay, the one that created us, the Almighty Creator God, our divine parents. We want to please them. We want to be assured, or at least be as close to being assured as we can, that we're going to be found worthy and deserving of inheriting a better world. Because we don't want to be stuck in this crap hole with these bullies running the show, okay, indefinitely. I mean, life's hard enough with all that organic suffering I talked about earlier. Okay, all that crap we all have to face day in and day out. That's a great burden, being aware that we could be dead at any day, or people we love more, like our children. Anything could happen. We're very vulnerable. It's very precarious. Okay, it's treacherous. It's a treacherous life, just naturally, organically. But no, we got to contend with these freaking a-holes that want us perpetually enslaved, and they just want to create more and more unnecessary misery and suffering for others, and don't give a crap. They trample all over the golden rule. And Jesus said the law and the prophets. We're talking about the 10 Commandments, and everything the prophets taught can be summed up in this: love God above all else, and love others like yourselves, like your own children, like Jesus loved us. That's what we're called on to do. If we do those things, we'll fulfill the law and the prophets. Because Christ said, I didn't come to fulfill the law. Oh, no. Oh, no. Not the least stroke of a pen is going to, no. That the law is intact, but the law is just the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And it comes down to honesty. Are you really honest? Have you really asked yourself, in my business affairs, are you a landlord? Are you treating your tenants as you would your very own children? Are you? Because you're going to answer for that kind of thing.